The final audit reports. I've got a couple letters in the front. We'll go through those in just a minute. But just some of the basic numbers. Obviously, that's some of the things that you're interested. As far as cash is always an important thing to look at. From a citywide perspective, you're a couple $100,000 ahead of where you were the year before, but there's some reasons for that, and we'll go through there. Overall, the general fund, your cash was down about $25,000, just slightly down. The MFT was almost identical, as was the road and bridge fund. MFT right around $50,000, 19 to 20. Road and bridge fund about $53,000 and about $57,000. Where you see a big increase is in the park and rec fund. It was up over $115,000 because you had a grant money sitting there. You got about $100,000 of grant money there. So it really, it's not something that you can go use on other things. It's earmarked, but it was there at the end of the year. The water fund was up in cash about 129, and then the sewer fund was down about 32. These are just the cash numbers. This isn't the income. This is cash. Then the TIF fund continued to build, increasing about 23,000 in cash.
Which fund does that work?
TIF.
Yes,
Okay.
the last one was TIF. Looking then at, and let me point out too, the sewer number I gave you up about 32, went from down about 32 from 670 to 639. That does not include any of the required set-asides for the bond fund. You have several restricted funds for the bonds. That's not included in this number. Looking then at surplus versus deficit. In 2020, the city operated, the general fund operated about a $43,000 deficit. The previous year is at a $213,000 surplus. The difference being in the amount of transfers. All the money comes in, most of the money comes into the general fund to begin with. The sales tax, the real estate taxes, the income taxes, they go in there and then they get spread out to the other funds. So in 2019, when we talked, I pointed out that the amount of money you transferred to other funds was down quite a bit, particularly the police fund. Well, in 2020, it was up, which is why there's a negative, and why it's such a big swing. It all has to do with the timing of transferring from the general fund to other funds. The street fund had a surplus, about a $12,000 surplus. Of course, park and rec fund had a big surplus as a result of the grant money that was there. Going back to what I said on the general fund, in the prior year, the police fund operated a $187,000 deficit. This year was a $6,000 deficit as a result of the amount of money that was transferred out of the general fund to cover that. Of course, the police fund has very little ways to generate money. So it's dependent on what the general fund transfers out, and the general fund transferred more out this year than it did the prior year. The water fund overall was about a $41,000 surplus. The sewer fund overall was about a $33,000 deficit. So that's something to keep in mind as well. The water fund is partially up because there were real estate tax monies that went into the water fund this year that had normally gone into a sewer bond and interest account. They went into the water account this year. From a global perspective, the water and sewer funds operated a $300 surplus. So obviously on a size operation, that's a very razor thin number, looking at both of them together. Looking at overall revenue, real estate taxes went from about 205 to 239, so a little bit of an increase there. Income taxes, sales and use taxes, almost flat, about a $9,000 increase in income and about $10,000 in sales and use tax. Back to what I want to beat the dead horse one more time. We don't really know what happened in May through the rest of the year, though. I'm sure that there had to be a decrease because of the things being closed down, people staying at home. We'll see that when we get into the next audit. Motor fuel taxes went up. Of course, there was a little bit of a tax increase there in the MFT for the state, so the motor fuel taxes did go up. Your other taxes, the telecommunications tax, the personal property replacement taxes, and the gaming taxes were pretty flat overall. The water fees charged to users was down slightly, about 36,000 down, and the sewer was down also about 8,000. Those can vary based on drought conditions. If there's more rain one year than the other, a number of people that fill swimming pools. But overall, that's not much of a change. That's pretty consistent from one year to the next.
8,000 is not a change.
Not when you're looking at 400,000.
I know, not when you're looking at numbers like you do. I understand.
So it's a small percentage change. Obviously it is, but it's a small percentage change.
Sure.
those are the highlight numbers in there, and we do have some, letters that we put in here. Our first letter is on pages 1 and 2, and that's just our opinion on the financial statements. It says these financial statements are presented fairly with generally accepted accounting principles. Nothing too exciting there. It's an unmodified, what's called unmodified, which is what you like to get. It's what you've had every year that I've been aware of the audit. Just says that everything's presented the way it's supposed to be, so no changes there. The very back is another opinion that talks about the very last page, which is what you're required to submit for the GATA. Government, was it Grant Accountability and Transparency Act?
Yes, it is.
They require this new schedule to be in the back, and then we have to give an opinion that says we don't see anything that looks wrong with it. There's also a new schedule right in front of that in the back. USDA wanted a comparative schedule in there on the water and sewer. We'd not put that in before, so that is in there now. So you got a pretty good breakdown of comparative to the water and sewer right near the back if you want to take a look at that at some point.
Schedule 9?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the new one. Schedule 9 gives you a nice water 2020 versus 19 and sewer 2020 versus 19
I like
as
that.
well. The letters that are in there, the one that was on top, I know you've all been looking at them. The one that was on top, which is 3 pages, is a lot of boilerplate wording that says, hey, we did your audit as we agreed to do. We didn't have any disagreements with management over the way the financial statements were presented. Everything went according as we anticipated it would. The other letter is our recommendations. When we come in and do your audit, we're also looking at internal controls. I can tell you some horror stories about internal controls and problems that can happen in even small municipalities. So we looked at the internal controls, just part of our normal audit procedure, nothing unusual, just part of our procedure. We've got some recommendations here, one of which we've mentioned before, and that deals with the reconciliation of the bank reconciliation to the general ledger. I know that the bank rec is getting done every month. I see them in the files. I know Kathy is reviewing them because she initials off on them. And what I'm gonna do in May is I'm gonna work with,
Lee.
thank you. When you get old like I am, you forget these things. I'm gonna work with Lee and walk through that next step of making sure that the bank reconciliation agrees to the general ledger. Because there were instances where because that wasn't being done, there were 3 payrolls that weren't even recorded in the general ledger. Computer issues, whatever the reason, they weren't there. And I look back at your November board report, and the board report that was given to you showed absolutely no payroll for the month of November. That's something that this reconciliation process would pop out.
November 19.
19, yes.
Okay, I was
Yep.
gonna s-
Yeah, we
say,
gotta
if it was November
clarify
this year,
that.
it could've been me, I didn't know how to do it.
We gotta clarify that because of the time frame here. So we definitely need to strengthen that, so to make sure that this says that this number, and this says the same number as well. I know like I said, I know there's some computer issues and some of the things got posted twice. So just, somebody involved to double check to make sure that these numbers all agree with each other. The other thing that we ran into that I put in here this year is making sure that you have your documents secure. They're kept in an unlocked cabinet right now. When I came in to do the audit, all the major funds at least, the bank reconciliations were gone. The bank statement was there. You could see where it had been unstapled and restapled, but the bank reconciliations were gone, which of course made it more difficult for us to get the audit done. We had March, we had May, but not April, and April is your year end. So we would recommend that they be locked and that only people who really need access to them have keys. And if somebody else has access to them, that somebody with authority would be there at the same time, just for your protection. The other thing I put in here, and I don't think those wouldn't even be a bad idea to keep your most current stuff in a fireproof case. Hey, we got a great fire department, but they're volunteers. And no, I'm not biased, but they're volunteers. And if you had a fire,
They're not gonna think to go get our,
and it's gonna probably happen after hours, when it'll be through the roof before anybody knows it. Cops will probably be gone, you know how it'll work out. So, it wouldn't be a bad idea to make sure that they're in some kind of fireproof, as well. So those are some recommendations.
It's supposed to be fireproof.
And they may be, I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah, but we don't.
We haven't tried it out.
Okay,
or anything.
I wouldn't recommend. But I'd be open to any questions if I've just dumped all this stuff on you.
It was long, Mark.
Sorry.
That was hard, that was long, but I know you did your best for us, thank you. did a great job, and got Argata's all sent in, and I'm getting some response.
I noticed last week that you're back on the pay list.
Yes, yes, we are.
So-
We got our check for the Cures Act, so that came in immediately. So we're waiting on our DCEO check and everybody to say, huh?
Where we get them group and county check?
Yes,
Taxes?
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it came in, I think, it was in 2021, so that will be taken out
I
next
know,
year, that's been.
I know it's mentioned here, and
Mhm.
it's all we had, but I wasn't sure.
That was, yeah, we finally got it, yeah, a year later, after they caught their mistake. But yeah. Any other questions for Mark? Okay. Well, thank you again.
Thank you.
Is there everything that you got that I returned back to you that
Yes.
you need?
Yes,
And you don't need anything else from us?
correct.
Now, can I ask you, can we start when? On next year, on the next
Well, I
audit?
wanna get in May and work with Lee a little bit,
Okay,
but we should be ready to go as early as June if the records are ready.
I think we should redeem ourselves, in the state's eyes that, I don't wanna be on another list, but I mean, yeah, that'd be, whenever, if you can put us in earlier, I'd love it, I'd love it. Okay, thank you, you can go, yeah.
Thanks, Mark.
Alright, Mark.
Bye, thank you.
Yay, done. Okay, can I,
For accepting it.
I know, I was getting ready to say, can I have a motion to, it's, I think it's okay.
Alan.
That's where the suction, yeah.
Sorry. You collected papers.
Yeah, that's all that is.
It's better to write on a stack than
All
just
the
one.
doors.
Right.
Can I get a motion then to, accept, the audit for,
Second.
Brown,
Yes.
Ruckert,
Yes.
Chapman,
Yes.
Mize,
Yes.
Menard.
Yes.
okay, thank you. Let's go back up to water meter bids. Since we just had that committee meeting.
Okay, this is an official meeting now?
Yeah, oh yeah, we are in,
Okay.
yeah, that you can make a motion, yes.
We'll make a motion that we go with Schulte Supply.
Bill, can I ask a couple questions real quick?
Yeah.
So it says residential meters, does that include, it doesn't include the commercial meters, do we know how much the commercial meters are, or when those would need to be replaced?
They're a little more expensive, but I would imagine they're a little bit more expensive, but, the other one also, no, I don't know how much they are. I don't think Jake does either.
Oh, I think it was on the bid, I remember talking about it at one time. But they weren't needed to be,
They don't need to be.
updated right now, was that it? That's why they didn't even put it on the bid.
Every several years they don't.
Right, they did need to be up, well, but,
But they won't work with this new system, correct? Is that, I've only heard bits and pieces, but
what's that now?
the commercial meters won't work with the new system, so they still have to use the current system to read
No,
it.
you'd put, well, yeah, if you left what was in there, yeah, you'd have to.
Am I making sense?
I think what Jake told me is they still have to, the big meters are still gonna have to manually read.
Yeah,
Is-
they don't
Which they
read
do
what
now,
want
yes.
anyhow, they go in and manually read them and wire them down.
But when they get upgraded, will we be able to use this new system, or will
I
that?
don't think so, you'll sit, there's only like 5 of them, so.
Okay.
If there's that many. I think we should-
Where are, I'm curious, where are they? I'm assuming
The
Jordan,
schools,
yeah,
there's 2 at Wolf Ridge, probably 2 at the high school, and.
is Jordan have one?
Jordan's.
Elevator
I
by
don't know if the
Gavin?
elevator,
I don't think.
Elevator
I don't
has
think they have a
one big
meter.
one.
Mm.
The elevator has one big one. Jordan's has a big
Jordan's have a
one.
big one.
The schools, I believe South Lawn, and that's probably And the laundromat has a big one.
I was just curious.
And the car wash has a big one.
Okay.
Makes
I mean,
sense.
that's minor stuff there. Anything else?
My only problem is I still feel this isn't in the budget, and with us we're doing a new budget next month.
Well, like we told John, we didn't budget for Bluegill. We put over $100,000 or $200,000, over $1 million, tell you the truth. That was not budgeted, we passed that.
Neither did we budget for the,
We didn't budget.
we only
for-
budgeted per year for the sewer project, which it was 3.1 million, and we only budget per year for that.
Okay, so I just wanna ask this question.
Yeah.
Because I wanna understand it, so, like I gave you the example of the police car, do we put the full amount when we do that, or am I thinking of that wrong?
I asked Mark that question, were you not here?
No.
Okay, he said you only are going to budget for your revenue, right? Not your, is that what, is that, no, okay. Expenses,
You're,
not what you're
the budget
borrowing.
is, the budget is a
Yeah.
yearly, just a basic,
Spend plan.
yeah, it's a spend plan, it's not actually set in stone, because obviously
Right.
you go over or under.
Right.
So, if you were to budget $3.1 million for our sewer, we would never, obviously, we couldn't do it, because we don't have that kind of revenue.
Right,
So you have to break it down over the years that you have available that you're gonna finance it for. And that would be what you would budget yearly for that.
I don't know.
what is currently in the water and the sewer?
That I don't know. I don't know that off the top of my head.
I was just curious, I mean, do we need to finance all of it?
Well, they had discussed doing, a down payment of 60,000 and financing it over 5 years, which the payment would be 2327, and that would be split between the water and the sewer. So you're talking about,
So I talked to Lee last Friday, and she told me that there's $570,380 in the water fund and $675,000 in the sewer fund. Now, I've been going through the budget, trying to find out where we're putting all that money. With the water department, our big expenditures are the water tower and, what was the other one there?
Well, you don't wanna budget all the money you already have.
right, you don't wanna
You wanna just spend every penny and budget every
Exactly.
penny in the bank.
you don't wanna take your capital, your working capital, and expend it out too quickly, because then what if something would happen, then we're gonna have to turn around and borrow money anyway. So, I mean, 60,000 is 30,000 apiece out of each fund, that's something that's very doable, and it wouldn't hit either fund ridiculously hard, and plus over the 5 years, I mean, it's $1,150 a month per fund.
50,000 really doesn't sound that bad either with that much in the account. That's correct.
You mean per each one?
Right.
Okay, I'm sorry, yeah, Ashley.
I don't mean to interject, but if you guys remember back when we talked about financing the squad cars last year, the year before, and Mark was here last year at the audit, you guys asked him if it was better, we had the money to pay for one, and he said it's always better to use someone else's money than to use your own
I remember that.
and finance that, especially if you can get a low interest rate. Just,
I think on this one it was 2%.
It's a
2.5.
2.5%.
2.5, I mean.
Wow.
That's still an excellent rate from our bank.
And you could always take put 60,000 down, 30,000 out of each fund,
that could technically go out of your.
5-year
shopping
payback, and you could always, if we see that we're on a road to where we can afford it, we could always pay it off quicker. I mean, but 5 years really isn't a long time, you do that on a squad car, I mean,
I was just trying to remember how we
Yeah,
did
yeah.
the cars in the past versus
Right.
this.
Yeah, I agree, I do not think this is asking too much whatsoever out of, it's something we've That gives you-
Do we know how much time, Bill, this will save as far as the reading, and Ginger, this saves you more time as well
It take
with the
about
new
a-
system?
It take about a half hour to 45 minutes to read the hotel.
And what's it take now?
2
Just
days.
get
2 days.
Oh, shit.
The
I mean,
guys-
if the equipment was working right, would it still be 2 days?
Yes.
Yeah. They had to stop 3 times today and recharge the wands.
Well, that's what I'm saying, if it was if they were
Yeah, and.
brand new,
Yeah.
it'd still be 2 days.
Yeah.
And this cuts your time down too?
I don't know that it cuts my time down, because I still have to, you know, go through those readings, make sure everything is correct. If I see something out of line, I need to send them, you know, check those readings, what have you, if people come in. I don't think it's gonna cut down on my time any, but the guys, it would.
Is it, so it's an improvement to what you
Yes,
have now?
absolutely.
You don't need to fix it, you don't need to, right?
Yes, and I mean, if there's a discrepancy, then we have the data to back it up. That's
They
the-
may have to go hit 2 or 3 spots in town
Yeah.
to hit the out, like Sunny
Right.
Acres or something.
Absolutely, to read them, to read them.
But other than that, he said you could stand right here in this parking lot out here and probably get, I don't remember what he said, 400 or something?
Mhm.
Yeah, just standing
Yeah.
right here.
This side of town.
And it wouldn't take all 3 of the guys to read meters, it would only take one.
It's,
Which would free
is it
them
all
up to
done
do,
from one vehicle?
yes.
Okay, well, I didn't mean, I didn't know if there was gonna be like more than one system and one's gonna go
No.
one way, one's gonna go the other, so it's all done from one
One has
vehicle.
on top of your truck that he drives about 3 different spots and that's it.
One reader.
And then like when you have a snow, you don't have to worry about snow.
You
That's
don't
the thing
have to
too, we
worry
don't have
about
to
getting 8
estimate.
inches of snow.
If we get 8 inches of snow, we're reading.
It's a little,
No estimating, no
Yeah.
nothing, it's a.
Yeah, ocean up, well, there's no estimate.
that it can read, so we saved $3,891 in interest if we put $60,000 down.
Where are you seeing that, Carrie?
Oh, I did it in the, I'm saying, so in interest cost, Betty, on the final farthest column,
On
If
the
we put the
5-year
60
payback,
yeah, if we do the 60,000 down
right.
versus nothing, we save 3,891 in interest. Roughly.
And the point Jake brought up
What?
about breakdowns and problems.
See the interest
I always
cost at the
thought when
end?
Glenn was,
Yes.
when Glenn was selling cars here in town, that it was a good idea to perhaps Chevrolet police cars, whether they bought it from him or not, because if they had a warranty problem, he was 2 blocks up the street. Where now if we have a warranty problem, we go to Litchfield or Greenfield. And that's time.
Yeah.
And from Shildy coming from Edwardsville
Yeah, they couldn't be you.
to half hour.
I think if Schulte services us the way they say they do, then,
All discussion's done?
as someone used to say, if it's not broke, don't try to fix it.
Don't fix it. I need a second, please.
Second.
Are you gonna say, are we putting anything down? Is that gonna be
Yeah,
part of the motion?
we need to,
60,000
Okay,
paid off in 5 years at 2.5% interest.
with the total project cost? Are we
Total
supposed to-
project is, hold on here a second.
5 years, what'd you say the
190.
interest
2.5,
Plus that is 27.
it's right on that top, Bill,
Interest
of the
is
finance.
2.5.
191,
What's that?
It should be right there.
Plus,
Oh, total
191,
project number
125.
is 191125.25.
you're up to 200.
okay. Is that Schulte Supply?
Yes.
It's a big company.
So you got 60 years, and that's your interest rate.
60 years?
No, 60 months.
5 years.
60,000 down.
5
Yeah.
years.
Okay, that's what I got. $60,000
Yeah,
down,
60 months.
5 years, 2.5% interest. Total project, 191,125.25.
Yep.
Okay. Mize,
Yes.
Ruckert.
Yeah.
Yes?
Yeah.
Brown,
Yes,
Menard,
Yes,
Chapman.
Yes.
thank you.
now, Bill, when will we,
We'll start immediately, probably, we could probably start the end of the month and first of next month.
That's awesome.
Susie ordered these, he'll
You can
ship
tell
like.
people there's a
Somebody call
problem.
Jake,
Your
tell
ship's
him.
running.
I know, I was
Shit's
gonna
right.
just text you.
Yeah.
And we'll be able to get them all
And a lot
in
of
1
times
year,
People don't know.
Yeah,
Should be
you
able to
think?
get them in within 3 to 4 months.
the meter.
Well, they,
Huh?
They be in some buying of our old meters, some of our goods.
Favor, you know
I'll
what I
get
mean?
ahold of Jake and.
Because then,
I'm sure it's gonna start with the
And if it
oldest,
isn't,
I think I
chances
remember,
are-
did I remember
Well,
him
yeah,
saying
it's-
that?
it's-
start-
it's
it's doing
like
so
putting the old
after-
meters
You
in
should- you should
and
let her
then end up with
know
new
the
ones, but if we had some
I'll do
that are
that.
really new, we
Yeah,
can.
just give them a heads
See,
up.
You may
I'm
not
not
see
saying that's
it.
the value to
Right.
It
them,
may
but
not
they're,
be, the- you wanna
sure
see
those
it,
small
That's a good
parts
idea, and I'll
that
do
use
that.
something like that, then keep some of money on.
Right.
So you're asking
That's
about what
better
we're
that
doing with
way.
the old ones?
Yeah.
Cause I was gonna ask that
Yeah.
if it gets
Yeah.
scrapped or
Buffer.
how we,
Yeah,
buffer.
Yeah,
Right,
there's some that have
exactly.
been on those, they gotta have some value,
especially on the newer ones,
yeah,
the ones that are under 10 years old,
yeah.
like John's over there, yeah.
Alright, let's go.
I would just like to say thank you to all of you, because this is something that is really a necessity to move forward with the water department in the future, and I appreciate you guys' effort.
Agreed.
Need good equipment
Next
to do
is
your
the
job.
payroll processing. He finally, I guess Carrie, after you talked to Tom or whatever,
I
emailed him,
emailed him, yeah.
after you emailed him, that he finally contacted Lee.
He said the reason he didn't is because she wasn't listed as the contact, Rhonda was, and I said,
And you,
can you just send it to him?
you and Rhonda are the only two, and he confirmed that with Lee when he was talking to her.
Okay,
So
well,
he will not, he said he wouldn't talk to anybody but you or Rhonda. Now, I don't understand how that can be.
Betty, I don't either, cause I've told him a million times, don't call me, I have nothing to do with payroll, I just did the initial contact, so.
I forgot to look up.
And they've even removed my number from the calls, and I haven't gotten calls in weeks. But when it first started, they were
I
calling
think
me
I
and calling
mentioned
me.
it in an email too.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I think we talked about it in emails.
Stick with the initial
But,
plan.
so I did not
And
sign
I
a
don't like
contract or
that.
anything, I wanna
Yeah.
clarify
You're
that.
my person.
And
Exactly.
I started it, but I
I'm
usually-
assuming everybody saw the email I sent out
Mhm.
to all the aldermen, did you guys see that? I don't know if we still need to have a meeting?
Because he still did not clarify the amount, so we understand that you pay for the first one. They're free, the first and the fifth, but he would not give definite answers of the second, third, and fourth months. Now, he gave an estimate, and that was the 600 and something that we were talking about at the meeting last week. The next one was 800, and the last one was 900. Those are the three that he sent as estimated bills for month 2, 3, and 4.
So the way he has explained it, and you're right, and then he did answer it, and I'll try to find that in an email, even if we move on. It said, you received 5-month promotion, which includes the full HR service. So you've received, so the HR service, one of the things that they mentioned in the promotion is, like with everything that was going on with COVID, if you don't understand, they help us figure out how to pay, they figure out how to help us get any money back that we can, that type of program. So he says you received the first and the 5th month, they're not charging us for, they're not billing us at all, and then
The first through the fifth?
No,
The
no,
first
first
and the
and
fifth.
fifth.
Oh, that's.
so, and the way they do that is because the promotion is in the center. So the first month, we don't get any bills, and the 5th month, we won't get any bills. So March and July, there'll be 0 invoices.
Correct.
And then in August, it'll be $225 of payroll.
No, according to what we were looking at on the email, so month 2, which is this month.
I'll go back.
at the-
Yeah, I'll go back to that.
Okay,
So in August, once all the promotions are over, we go to $225 per payroll, which if you base that on 10 full-time employees,
$450 a month.
it's $22.50 an employee per pay. Which is what we agreed on, in fact, I think it's a little cheaper.
again, it's $500 a month. But, go ahead.
So the 3 months in between, I lost my spot, your 3 months in between will have the bundled bi-weekly billing outlined in the proposal, which this promotion, it costs you less than the payroll over the first 5 months because you received 2 months free and you didn't have to pay the $1,500 setup, which they waived that. And it was cheaper to do the promotion than pay the $1,500 setup and all 5 months. So that is why it went the promotion route, because it was cheaper that way.
Okay, so he's still, but he put it within those 3 months. So this month, so this is March, April, and May are the amounts that was shown in the,
It's the six.
is the one that Lee had, or that was handed out to you on Wednesday.
Right.
600, 800, and 900. So we're still, at the end of the year, we're still paying,
6,000.
yeah, we're still up
About.
over $6,000, and that's,
I didn't do that part. I was just trying to get everybody to where we could understand what they were doing.
I think my biggest question is it really worth it to pay somebody to write 2 checks and deposit 8 others?
I agree.
I mean, because, and the only reason I say that is because you're still paying Lee to input, review the time cards, change anything that needs to be changed before you give it to them, and all they do is write a check. I just,
I didn't see
Think it's a
anything
lot
in
of
the
wasted
process
money.
changing, except the fact
No.
that the time clocks were sending her a report. She still had every bit of the process to do, to get it to paychecks.
So the time clocks should have the option, I believe, correct me if I'm wrong.
Upload.
It should
If
upload
they're
directly to,
compatible with paychecks,
Right.
which we haven't got that far yet.
okay. I thought they said they were, I can,
But
you
also
guys double
that's-
check that, or I can double check it if you want me to.
doesn't that still put it back to though, like, people who take vacation, are sick, miss a punch? She still has to enter
She's
all
still
that.
gotta enter that.
Or she has to let
A
them know
sick day.
somehow.
A sick day.
There
yeah.
should be a part in the program, and Ginger, maybe this HR part that we have coming up, maybe all of that, we can learn more about this. There should be a part in the program where if you guys wanna take, do you have the app?
None of us do.
I'm sorry.
I don't think anybody does.
Okay, so they have an app, I think Jake and some of the guys have them, you can download their app, but there's also a section where you can go in and say you know when one of your vacations is gonna be, say you're going on vacation the week of July 4th. So you can put that in there, and then the administration is supposed to be able to approve that, and then they can see any other time that people have, say, we already have 2 people that have asked off that week, it should flag that. So that's when it should pick up your vacation.
Okay, I just,
I think we just need to take a little more time and learn more about it.
I think it's just a lot of money to spend out for 10 employees, or 15 total, maybe 15 on occasion.
So Rhonda, when the deputy clerk position was empty, how much of a burden was it for you to do the payroll?
A huge burden, but that's because I have a full-time primary job.
Right.
Well,
So, if something happened like this again, and, I'm just hypothetically speaking.
It could be
Poor
a
Rhonda.
different clerk too, then, you know what I'm saying,
Right.
after the election, you never know.
and
Could be
then-
COVID,
And then
it
we
could be
could-
anything.
Yeah, and they do the taxes that need to be paid after.
And again, like we said from the beginning, there was gonna be no change in work for the deputy clerk. There was gonna be no change in work. Yes, we understand the workload is still there, but it's an independent group keeping track of our vacation time, sick time. All that stuff that we have problems with is now gonna be taken care of by an independent company.
It can only be
but that's
taken,
what the time clocks are recording for you. Not paychecks, the time clocks,
The Paychex is giving them
they're just, yeah.
their sick leave and vacation, I haven't looked, cause I don't get sick leave and vacation. They're, per the new contract, they're however many hours they get per month.
Uh-huh,
Should keep track of all of that.
It's adding that on, I think.
yeah, but
I'm just,
that still has to be plugged into the time clocks. Yes.
Well, actually, Lee has
No,
been,
it doesn't.
Oh,
Lee's put that in and notified them of what everybody has so far going
Yes.
forward, and then it accrues.
And the time.
And they are aware of that. But if Lee has to do that, why are we paying $6,000 a year in addition to paying the deputy clerk? I'm
Well,
sorry,
she has
guys, I
learned
may be
so much in
interested.
the last, couple months, that like I didn't ask her.
And she is starting to get it.
I said, do you think you can? She was, well, it definitely see where you would have to do manual input. But if somebody called in sick, you would have to put that in with the paychecks.
Well, again, you should be able to use the app too, to call yourself in sick.
Which you should be doing anyway.
Okay,
Yeah, for
shed
the
light,
time clock.
shed light.
I have a
Or-
question. If this paycheck system is tracking it, isn't that the same thing Assist was doing?
Yeah,
So you're paying another company to track it when you have a program that tracks it?
yeah, cause that's what Lee's got her, for the all the stuff that I gave you when she first started with her, not Excel sheet, but what she had wrote down, that was all out, all through Assist.
What
That
I'm
she
gonna-
was getting off, but she wasn't getting that off time clocks at the time. That's what she was getting off time sheets, she was trying to make it all work.
I think we should give paychecks a chance and go through the 5-month trial period, and if we're not happy after that, then we look at something, see what we're gonna do. That's my personal opinion.
Well, again, even with that, switching from, you do the payroll now and then, well, we're gonna bring it back in, that's gonna be a nightmare when it comes to your year-end tax forms too. Now you're gonna,
What would that have to do with tax?
well,
You mean paying their taxes?
No, he's talking about W-2s at the end of the year.
So someone else is gonna be doing our W-2s now, and now half the year in, we're gonna do it ourselves, it'll be a nightmare on W-2s.
Well, it's always gonna be that anyway, because we did 2 months of it, so it's still gonna be,
It's still gonna be jig jogged, yeah,
Well,
because we
that's
were
gonna
done 2 months, yeah.
Paychecks will correct that, they're gonna account for that,
Yeah.
Yeah, they'll audit for that.
they've already audited, or they should have already audited for it.
Well, I'm gonna side with Carrie on this for the 5-month period, and in 5 months to see if it's cost effective. And it is in fact working.
And we'll keep track of, the amounts that we're getting, and, yeah, I'm anxious to see what that report's gonna be. Okay, 5 months. Trial. And I'll tell Lee to keep track of what comes in from them.
She probably has to anyway in her system.
Yeah, I know, that's what I said, I wanna see if it matches up with, what he sent, the information that he sent, what he said the invoices were gonna be. Okay. Alright. Next is the missing FOIA information.
Can we back up for 1 second, I'm sorry,
Oh.
Betty? Are we going to utilize this HR program with them, or are we gonna, has anybody looked at that, or had time to look at it, or?
I haven't had time, but.
that's an additional cost.
I think that is where the bulk of the big
For this
bucks-
3 months, that's included.
Right,
Right, but then after that, it's an additional cost.
Right, so they can help us get things set up now, and then, let's just put it this way, it may be worth looking, I would look into it. It's available for 3 months, and if we can look into it and we can take advantage of it, then I say we should.
if it's,
Let's just leave it.
I would-
Use it.
huh?
If it's free, use it.
It's not free
It's
though.
not
That's-
free.
That's where it's the $600, $800, and $900 that they're quoting, and.
And when the
But actually, if
proportions
you
are,
average out.
It's part of the promotion.
Well, we're gonna be billed in the next 5 months, if you average it out per payroll, we're gonna pay the same now as we will after the promotion is over.
Actually, it's cheaper because of the $1,500 setup that they waived, but anyway, I just thought that was worth mentioning, we'll look at the HR.
17 and 17.
Okay, sorry, go ahead.
250 times 1. Well, I see that there's still $1,000 difference, so I don't know. Again, we'll just all keep an eye on this for the next 3 months and see how it washes out. Because I don't know if the HR is something, if that's the biggest expense. It's only $200 to do the paychecks, but, you know, you've got the added expense. I think that's wasteful spending. That's what I look at. Any other questions on that now?
No.
Are we good on that? Okay, we're moving on real quick then. We're doing good. The missing FOIA information. Johnny, you're the one that asked for it to be on the
He's gotta
agenda.
get his thoughts together.
So, with the mission for you, last month you said, or last monthly meeting, you said that Ashley was never contacted about the missing documents that Chelsea has been asking for. We've got copies here of all the emails, if you pass them around, Ron, keep one for yourself, of emails where they have been asked for. And the FOIA is not fulfilled yet. I don't really think that's
You're saying this is emails asking what? Asking Rhonda to,
produce the missing
Okay.
documents, and then and Rhonda asking Ashley to produce
What,
the
when did
documents.
I get asked for that?
You can have one of the papers if you like.
And then, I don't have it written down,
Yeah, if I could, please.
the extras over that way.
is there extra?
No, I just gave him one.
I don't have it written down where I contacted you verbally.
And I told you everything that I had was in those files. When I left in September, everything was in there.
Yes, and that one time I asked you, and you said, I remember distinctly, your mom was in there, but she wouldn't be a witness, that I'm not gonna get those receipts.
I never once told you that.
Yes, you did.
No, I did not.
Okay, all right.
So Ashley, since we're all here, can you produce those receipts for
Yes,
us?
I absolutely can. Which ones do you want? The purchases or to prove that y'all never paid for my Amazon Prime account?
I don't think anybody ever thought
No,
you
it
paid
was,
for
you
your
actually
Amazon
made the
Prime.
comment.
Yeah,
at
you did
January's
in the
meeting.
chief stopped you.
Yeah, so,
No, I said that was originally your Amazon account. I never thought that the city paid for it, cause there's all those.
you made the comment on
Credits.
Facebook and I saw it. So here's your proof that it was paid for with my debit cards. Thank you.
And this is also what Mark Vaughn was talking about, that deputy clerk needs to have her file cabinet locked up, and the clerk, her personal files, because honestly, when Mark came in and we could not find those, receipts and that, and the bank statements, you could clearly see where the,
Oh, these aren't yeah, the Visa was credited for all these, Ash.
No, the Visa was never
Well,
credited.
one
No,
Visa was,
hold on.
on one of those statements, it
Okay.
shows.
Before you insinuate anything, you are Rhonda. I'm telling you, that is from my Amazon Prime account. Every purchase of my Amazon Prime, the $12.99, was paid for every month by my debit card.
But everybody was under the assumption that
It
she was
paid
using
for-
the city's credit card to pay for her
That's-
$12.99.
No, I
Go
never
watch
even
the
thought
video.
that.
Go
No,
watch
but
Well, that's.
I think is what was said was, and I think the chief cleared this up,
Originally
there was,
was-
hang on, there was a charge that showed $12.99
And
or
it-
$12.90.
Correct.
But then I believe the chief came back and said, I don't recall anybody saying it.
No, it was, the previous deputy clerk was mentioned, and that would be
Okay,
me.
well,
What my point was, is I didn't appreciate that being put out there, cause I've not done anything wrong, and you guys had no proof, number one, that my Amazon account was the only one being used. I mean, and that's all I'm asking for is respect in my part, because I live in this town also.
Well, the problem here is we're missing documents. That's our problem.
Well, hang on, Mark, hold on just a second. I'm gonna clear up another issue for everyone, and I'm gonna apologize to everyone because I forget things. And for the last several years, I have used Ashley's Amazon account because she
I
has
paid for
Prime, and so I use it for the free shipping for my own personal use. I did make some purchases for the city, and they are all receipts right here. That was done with the city charge, but they were for the city. They were not for me, out of my old account that I don't use because I use Ashley's.
Well, Ginger, we're not accusing of.
No.
We're not saying that anybody's buying stuff for their
I
own
understand
personal
that.
use. We're
But
saying we're missing documents.
But it looks
John,
like,
it's been put on Facebook that way. That's what I'm asking you guys to do, is clear
I
this
don't
up to
really
the
care
public.
about Facebook. All
I
I'm
do.
saying
Neither
is,
do I don't get on it.
here is, I guess I should just make copies and give them to everybody. These are the things that I purchased through my Amazon with the city credit card. They were all for city.
Let's clarify, through Ashley's Prime Amazon.
No,
No, so through
These
your
were-
Amazon, okay.
yes, and you
I'm-
paid shipping on some of these, and these purchases were done, like, I wrote on here what they were for, the haul. This was Jake's laptop, it was a battery replacement for his laptop, so I wrote on there what it was for.
I'm sorry, I thought you said you used Ashley's Prime
It's
because she had.
not
For my
unusual
personal,
to use
for my
your
personal.
personal Amazon account for company business.
Right, because we
Because
didn't
you
have
know-
one
yes,
before,
that's-
we've never set one
And
up.
quite frankly, when
That
this,
wasn't the issue was
Right.
trying to get the receipts because it was
Exactly.
on someone's personal.
I
Amazon.
wholeheartedly apologize, because this was an oversight on my part, I forgot, I just never use it, so. But I'm giving you guys the information that you asked for. Here's the city clerk, this was a $600 purchase, I believe, that was for the binders for the minutes and the,
Let's just keep these all together so she can.
it was the paper, the books for the minutes,
I'm
the
just
book.
gonna go make a copy for you, and you, and everyone else.
Yeah.
And then I
You
would,
can make a copy of this too.
My whole point at Wednesday night's meeting was to tell you guys that I didn't leave here not wanting you guys to have everything. That's not my intention. You know, I wanted to do a good job, I tried to do a good job. You know, if things came up missing after I left, I can't help that. But when I were here, there were the documents were in there. I gave Rhonda what I had when I was here.
I
But
read-
were there, and I'm just asking, were there documents already missing when you were, and I'm not saying anybody took them, I'm just saying, were there documents already missing when you were still here?
Yes.
I thought there was some, okay.
Yes.
And I cannot remember which 3 receipts we don't have. Do you know, Chelsea?
It's in the string of emails, I'll look and find it.
Okay.
Receipts for
For the
Just ones that weren't
Visa,
included.
Amazon.
I'm not saying they all were, I'm not real sure.
Amazon or not, yeah.
The $600 one was the biggest one, and there were a couple that were like maybe 200 or 300, but
So,
I don't know they were all Amazon for
Yeah,
sure.
what I said in that one meeting was in reference to, it was originally Ashley's Amazon account, because it's not unusual for you to use your personal Amazon because you have Prime and you get it, or you have it, it's easier to get the product for your business.
as long as we have records,
But I never,
But in the court of
never
public opinion,
insinuated,
it looked really bad, and
And
that's
nev-
what I didn't appreciate.
well, that was certainly not my intention. I never once, as a matter of fact, when you said something to me about,
the chief is the one that said he had an Amazon account that, if I remember this correctly, there was an Amazon account that was paid for, but then we got credited all back.
Correct.
yes,
Okay.
yes.
Mhm.
And that's going on
And,
there.
And that's what this is, right?
No, I think that's Ashley's personal receipts that she paid for.
Ginger made the purchase on Ashley's Amazon.
Everybody used my Amazon account when I was here, and believe me, when they brought it,
Yeah.
you didn't, but I didn't want to, but I had the Amazon
And I
account, I paid
never-
for it.
Okay.
Never
That's enough.
thought that the city was paying your Amazon.
Right, I never had that
Prime.
impression either.
Okay, you didn't, okay.
I didn't
good,
have that
I'm not
impression
doing-
either.
Yeah, I never, that was never my insinuation. If the public
I may
took
have
that
missed
wrong-
something, but I didn't have that impression either.
So this
Because I've
is-
seen all those $12.99 credits on the Visa.
Okay, what's,
So this is a payment that's missing. It shows that it was cashed, it shows that it was sent to the Visa company, but it doesn't show up on any of the statements.
You said it shows it was cashed, it shows up on the bank.
so we paid the amount, okay?
Okay, so it shows that we paid $1,164.02 to the United Community Bank Visa on November 22nd.
Okay.
And it shows the next page is where it cleared the bank.
Mm-hmm.
And then if you look at the December, where it should show up on the December 10th Visa statement, there's only a payment of $496.95. It's on the far left column, second item down. Under summary of account. Okay? So I thought, well, look at November, look at the month before and the month after, just in case. And it's not November and it's not in January. So,
Can you, wanna
But that
shed
put
some light on
one,
this? Huh?
is that the same card number,
Oh,
or was that one time that they got canceled?
oh, that's right, there was,
We've had it canceled a couple times because I had to dispute with them, there was charges for a juicer, a $500 juicer, and it got shipped to South Carolina.
when I
You don't have another
I'm
Visa
not sure.
statement with a different number that shows that amount anywhere, I don't think.
the January statement is a different card number.
That's
I believe.
probably where,
But the note, the December payment, it was a December payment, I'm sorry, wrote the end of November for a December payment, I'm
Right.
assuming. The December and the November have the same, I believe.
They're scratched out on mine.
Well, it's at the
If
very
it-
bottom,
if it,
Oh, that's right.
on the one, it's not on the December, but it. My concern is we've made this payment, and if you look at the very last page, it also shows under vendor number 252, check number 18883, like same date, everything, that same dollar amount, so, I mean, we definitely made,
Never
they
showed
definitely
up
cashed the check, but it was never
on the
posted to
Visa
anything that I could find.
statement. And
but
we
we
even,
would cash by the bank, right?
It was cashed by Visa, or,
The UC
United
Visa.
Community Bank Visa.
Did they apply it to a loan possibly?
I don't know, we had faxed the
yeah, and they said,
check to somebody.
it's right there on that information, Rhonda.
Oh, is it?
Because I know a
That
couple times,
last, on the January statement, I wrote it all over the
Oh,
top.
okay.
Robin called a couple times asking where it was
Do we
supposed to
have
be.
a tear off piece on the bottom of these checks and see what it's for?
Yeah,
So would we have a copy that would be something we could reference it to?
It would be stapled to the
it would be
invoice.
stapled, yeah, to the statement.
That's what I'm just trying to think of something else to look at
So I'm,
for reference, like the
the
check.
fact that it was a
nothing,
November
but it's
twenty-second
a tear off
check.
sheet that's attached.
It appears that we made a payment, we didn't get credit for it.
That way, there's another account number, it would say it was account 123 equals 123.
I understand what you're saying, but
Yeah.
if it was anything like what me and Mark found when we were in there looking for receipts and stuff for the audit, there was a lot of stuff missing and.
Is that something you can pull now?
What is it, you,
The the December statement for the Visa card,
Well, I guess
December
next time,
19,
you just contact the
2019.
bank, and see what the account is credited to.
just to see if that check stub's on there. I mean, again, it's gone through the bank.
You know, I don't know.
19's put away, isn't it?
I don't know, it shouldn't be, I wouldn't have put it away, it would still be in the file.
Still be in there.
Well, no,
You see what I'm saying, Dottie? The
Oh,
payment,
yeah, I mean, like
I don't see
said,
where it's been posted.
We're sure not, against this bank and put money in somebody else's account, I know that.
Well, and I'm not, it looks like maybe,
You got that right.
well, it's definitely been cashed and it doesn't post to any of these three statements, let's just leave it
If
at
the check
that.
was cashed, you be able to get a copy of the front and back of the check.
That's what I did.
oh, and
so
some of these
UCB has the
statements.
cash, you just have to find out where they
some of
credited it and
these-
tell them that they credited it wrong.
Right.
And it says that it went to
Attached there.
Chatham.
Right, so yeah, so it would be,
So, but who endorsed it?
Well, It's not a great copy, but it says, you can see where it says credited to the amount of
Stub,
Okay.
same amount.
United
Then it
Community
says
Bank Chatham.
Chatham, which
Does
is
the same
Visa,
amount.
from
So
everything
maybe-
we've seen.
Which I know
So
Robin
the
had a question,
November
but we sent
attached
them
to
in
the
before, she asked
November.
if they should be applied to
Oh,
the credit card.
November.
November
The
statement.
loan, and
But
when we
it
send the
didn't
loan
show
payments in, they
up
ask,
on
do they send you go the credit card or the
December.
loan, it's like,
Even with the word Visa.
yeah,
November.
So,
22, yeah.
So if we get you those 3 receipts.
That's it, yeah,
You're
that'd be
good.
perfect, yeah,
And we can be done with this?
absolutely.
And I think, like they said, going back and checking with United Community Bank and getting, is our way to
Sure.
do this, you know, I mean, to
And we had
get this resolved.
he faxed it to UCB. I guess I'll have to pull that. Let's get this.
actually, if you got a copy of this, everything here should be what you would need for them, I would think.
For Visa?
No, for the bank.
For the bank.
Oh.
If the bank can help us figure it out.
We can see what they applied, where they put it, where they applied it.
And just to make sure the city got credit for it.
Well, like I said, I'll be in tomorrow in the morning with Lee, so I'll, we'll see what we can get done on it. Maybe you can just shoot her an email too, just saying what you found, where you found it.
Was it in the?
And
Yeah, I've been talking to her about the Visa stuff, so.
Was it, well, this was the checks.
What do you need?
Yeah, it's the
Hey,
checks
it's right there,
upstate.
let's not take it though.
No, no.
I mean, take it,
Too far.
yeah, I never take anything out of the office.
No. I have plenty of paperwork on that on anybody else's.
Yeah, no kidding.
Betty, I think it needs to be understood in the future, anything we buy is bought on a city account. Where Amazon account or Sears Roebuck, or wherever we buy it from.
But you know, we already got some, steps in place.
And let's
Well, I know,
To
clarify,
Rhonda,
sign out for a
Ellen,
Visa.
doesn't the
and-
city
But
now
you
have its
remember
own
back
Amazon
when,
account?
Robin was buying stuff, she was buying stuff for the city using her credit card. There was always a question about that,
Huh.
and so that's why we got our own Visa card, and I think this needs to be done, handled the same way.
So that would have to be a credit card payment.
City needs
Did you
a
see
private
that?
account too, then.
No, I didn't
That's
see
right.
them.
It says cameras, ammunition, and mag blocks.
Doesn't
It's
say
a small
that.
cost, if you ship something 3 times, you're good. You've paid for your shipping and you're
Yeah, you
good.
look on the check stuff like that.
Yeah, the description I didn't.
Yeah.
put
Yeah.
there.
I was
So, I mean, that's not a
under the
payment to the
impression
bank.
police department had an account.
He did, he had,
Forget it.
Alan, he said he
Can I
had
say
like a
too,
free
though,
account.
that, you know,
He
it
said he
was
had a free
difficult.
account.
It is difficult to get receipts
Yeah,
for
yeah.
purchases, and
Seems like
we've
they
had
could
many
come up
talks, had many talks about it, and
Hey, if
Yep.
they hand in a credit card, they don't hand in a receipt, then they need
It's
to,
obvious.
better figure it out. Go back
And,
get
and that's
one
how
on
we,
your own
but
time.
we have
But
that
Ronnie,
sign up sheet now.
hadn't I come to you before about it,
One of
Yeah.
the
we, I mean, we've had this conversation many times, it's not for
That's
lack
the
of
same
trying.
with the school district, every single month.
And
I
even
can
if-
attest to that, right?
Okay. Even if you put a process in place,
People don't always.
it's still, I think we just sent an officer out a couple months ago and he found his receipt at the bottom of the floorboard.
Exactly. It
Okay.
happens-
It didn't go in anyway.
Yeah.
It happens because when you go out and you're in a hurry to get parts for Jake, you know, Jake goes out, grabs parts, they throw a box together with parts, receipt in the bottom of the box, next thing you know, it gets thrown around in the truck.
Okay.
It's easy
Because
to
they don't
lose
care
it.
about the receipt, cause it's not their own receipt.
I understand.
Well, they're
but-
trying to
They
get
probably don't
something
even care if it is
done.
their own
And I
receipt.
really think that Lee's trying now to, I mean, she's kinda like a little
Sit them back
watchdog,
on their own
you
time,
know.
get a copy of
She,
it.
yeah, she is, she's not gonna argue with them, but she's, I think
Sit them
she's
back
doing
on
her
their
best
time,
to
get a
try to
copy of the
keep that
receipt, that'll calm
curtailed.
them down.
Yeah,
They can
exactly.
remember the receipt.
It's very
Thank
hard
you
to
very
do
much,
shit
Andrew.
that turn the receipts, cause they don't,
Like I said, send them back on their own time.
oh, we know.
They'll remember it.
Yeah, one's for what I did and one was Ashley's personal.
Yep, it's coming.
I just don't want,
Oh, I get it.
okay, we've got too many papers here.
This is the ones that I did, they're written on, and these are Ashley's personal.
Yours or motion adjourned?
I'm just gonna ask if, we feel like this is resolved to the point that, the bank will be contacted
Chelsea,
and,
Thank you, I appreciate it.
You this, 'cause I know you need to
Okay,
read
yep,
this.
thank you.
She said she'd be good.
And Rhonda, I have them too.
Are
She
those
gave
are the
them to
ones
me.
that are missing?
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
I think, I'm assuming, I don't
Well,
know for sure.
yeah, we
Well,
would,
I
we'll
can't
check.
produce any more than what I
I hear
have,
you.
I'm done.
I hear you there.
Hey, if this is not, if they're
This is
missing
what you
still,
got, this is what you got.
This is all I have.
Okay,
All I have.
gotcha.
That is all I have. I went to
So,
my,
Thank you.
you said, Chelsea, that is,
I have to look, cause I have it at home on my email, which it was just a few months, but I don't have it in my heart to know if this covers it, yeah.
please fill us in.
Yeah, I will, thank you.
Is that goes to $12.99? Okay.
Rhonda, can you just copy us all in what the bank says on the?
Well, Chelsea's gonna, if she's
No, no,
got
I mean
it,
on the payment.
No, I'm not,
I'm
the
talking
bank
about the
payment's
payment.
not me, yep, yep.
Okay.
and this is, what I purchased
Okay.
on my own with the city
Okay.
credit card, but it's.
But we
all
still
in.
wanna find out why that check wasn't
Yeah.
posted to our Visa.
Yeah, that's a separate issue, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
That's what I'm asking you to email all of us on,
Yeah.
once you find out.
I made a motion to adjourn.
okay.
We'll find out.